It's summertime, and if you're like me, that means shoes coming off. But let's be honest, flip-flops aren't particularly practical, Birkenstocks are way overhyped, and hiking or walking around town properly barefoot is just asking for a tetanus shot. In this video, I'm going to be showing you the very best barefoot sandals that you can find in 5 different categories, and at the end, I'm going to tell you where I've decided to spend my own money. Kicking it off with a company called Pyopp Fledge that have taken a double category win in both the micro producer and budget category, which is actually a very unlikely combination. I only recently stumbled across this family-owned Indonesian company, literally just by fluke. These are their Tapak sandals, and I picked up this pair completely brand new for $20 US, which makes them the cheapest barefoot option, not only on this list, but on this channel, and that's by multiples, but we're going to talk about that later in this video. For that price, you are getting a very, very coherent barefoot sandal. It's got a 9mm total stack height, which is a little bit thicker and stiffer than some of the other options on this list, but it does have some really nice grip. The construction is a mix of double stitched vegan leather and also this nice paracord for the toe area on an air-light compound outsole. Now, this is a rubber and phylon mix that apparently is 62% lighter than just rubber alone. They do say on their website that that mix also gives better grip than rubber on its own, including in the wet, but I haven't had the chance to put that to the test just yet. As far as fit and comfort go, honestly, they feel really good on the foot, but I am not particularly enamored with this paracord toe section. If I'm being honest, I've only used them on short walks so far, and that's because I personally do get rubbing in between my toe from this. Now, that might become a little bit less pronounced over time, but right now I am very aware of it. The heel and the side sport on these feel fantastic. I've had no slipping with my foot in this shoe, even on really hot days. But what really jumped out to me about these sandals, other than the price, was the size of their toe box. There's a really big barefoot, or at least sandaled culture here in Bali, and I do find that most of the locals do have much wider feet than most of the Westerners, and Pyopp Fledge, being an Indonesian company, has definitely reflected that in the shape of these shoes. I actually found them to be so wide that I ended up cutting off a big section of that shoe just to get rid of some of the excess, which, if I'm being honest, is a first for me, but could make them a really good option for you if you do have wider feet, or if you've got a second toe that's longer than your big toe. Category 2 is most liked, and I also found these sandals, as it would happen, completely by chance when I was trawling through different YouTube comment sections, and they are the Bedrock Classic LT. These things just kept coming up way more than anything else that I could find in the comment section. Bedrock sandals are the GOAT. These are the best in terms of comfort and durability. My wife and I love Bedrock. Mine too, buddy. They're not the thinnest, they are not the lightest, but they are rock solid. There's a lot of love for them, so it does sound like they definitely deserve a place on this list. And to be honest, I am kind of bummed that I couldn't get hold of a pair out here. These ones come in at $70, so about 3.5 times the price of the Pyopp Fledge. And honestly, the design, at least, they look just like every other barefoot sandal that we're going to look at today, but this time they are using a slightly thinner 8mm Vibram outsole with Bedrock's own granite grip footbed and 1/2 inch wide polyester webbing, which apparently keeps your foot really nice and secure. They do use the exact same paracord system for the toes that Pyopp Fledge has been using, but this time you can actually adjust the angle of it, which I suspect at least would make them feel more comfortable on the foot on longer distances. 3.5 times more comfortable than the Pyopp Fledge? I don't know. You guys do really seem to like them, so please let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next up, we have got our ultra-light hiking category, which initially did have 2 main contenders. The Zero Genesis, which retails at $45 US with a 5mm stack height, and the Shamma Elite Warriors, which retails at a whopping $105 with a 6mm stack height. Even though they are a bit expensive for what is effectively some leather and a bit of string, the Shamma Warriors have taken the win for me here, because I have heard some murmurings, let's say, of fitment and quality issues with the Zero, and I don't think they offer enough value when you're looking at what you can get for slightly less with the Pyopp Fledge Tapak, and slightly more with something like the Bedrock Classic LT, which has got so many positive reviews. The Shamma Warriors, on the other hand, they do a really good job of combining that very minimalist modular design with ultralight performance and durability. That modular design is also a really nice touch, because it means that you can replace worn out parts at home with a simple pair of pliers, which I think adds a lot of value to their $100 price tag. And then as far as comfort goes, I have heard nothing but good things about these shoes. Although a 6mm stack height, it's not going to be for the faint-hearted, and it's definitely going to feel a lot thinner than the 8mm that we saw on the Bedrock. Unlike the thong-toed straps on the Pyopp Tapaks and Bedrocks, which use that looped paracord, these do use a much thinner and smoother webbing with an adjustable strapping system as well, and that just lets you decide the angle that it's going to run that toe support through. They're also using a much more premium suede on the heel post and side posts, which is not only going to wear really well and probably feel much nicer during long days on the trail. When it does come to distance though, my preference is actually a little bit, let's call it a lot of a bit, left of field. Now, these are the VivoBarefoot Tracker Sandals. They are definitely unique looking. There's definitely a lot more to them than any of the options that we've seen so far, but with that, they provide a pretty unique best of both worlds experience, in my opinion. Now, before I get completely shredded in the comments, let me make my case. On one hand, you have got just enough protection where you need it on long hiking days, with a 4mm footbed with actual proper lugs, which we haven't seen on any of the other options so far. You've also got some toe box protection. We've got a wraparound sole that actually comes up and onto the foot, which gives better lateral grip when you're traversing across slopes, and a breathable mesh, which is going to stop rocks and branches coming in, but allow your foot to breathe while you're on the go. We've also got these two nice Velcro tabs that give a very nice customized fit. There is a lot going on with this shoe. Do they look ridiculous? Yes, yes they do. But personally, I really like them because they are very versatile. They're incredibly comfortable with a removable insole, but mostly because they don't have that stupid little toe string. They stay in place with all this adjustability and customization. They don't let stones in while you're walking. And realistically, they're the only ones I would personally trust to climb a mountain in the summer. The only thing that I do not like about these shoes is the price, which is a fairly eye-watering $160. Which brings me quite nicely to the very confusing question of where would I, or in this case, where have I decided to spend my money? And I say confusing because, as you can see, I own both the most expensive and the cheapest of the options on this list. That's not to say that the shoes in the middle aren't worth buying yourself, but for my needs, I think that this is a bit of a perfect combination. Just personally, knowing the type of hiking and trail running that I do, I'm never going to want to be using this hyper minimalist style of barefoot sandal for anything other than a, more unique barefoot walking experience over realistically shorter distances or just wandering around town. And for that, the incredibly well priced $20 Pyopp Fledges do a phenomenal job. Whereas when I do really want to be getting out and walking the road less traveled, the Vivos, albeit significantly more expensive and more shod, offer a much more robust and capable variation from a tried and true brand. The question it does make me ask though is, if Pyopp Fledge can make shoes like this for $20, Why are barefoot shoes so expensive, and why is there always such a huge discrepancy in price, especially amongst more minimalistic models? If you want to find out the answer to that question, make sure you subscribe to the channel, because I'm going to be talking to the biggest and the smallest barefoot shoe manufacturers, asking them that exact question to find out. But otherwise, and as always, thank you so much for watching this video. I look forward to seeing you again very soon.